Well, hello, hello, hello. Hello. Oh, had to turn my phone down. Had to mute it. So tonight I decided, since we're having a storm. Hey, John. We're getting ready to have some major storms here. I decided to take and work in my glue book. How are you doing, John? Did you have a good week? So I'm going to dedicate, because I had so much fun playing in train items, that I'm going to take some of the pieces I had left. I'm going to fussy cut these, and then I'm going to stick them in my glue book as a page dedicated to my father. It's going to be Dad's train page. Hey, CDC. Hey, Kristen. Oh, look at you guys popping in. Hey, Horror. Hey, Terry. Oh, my goodness. Lots of hugs. Lots of hugs. Got to get my hugs in. So for people that have channels here, check each other out. We've been doing some networking. This is Horror's page. Hey, Denise. Those are in blue. You can put your channel links in the room if you want to, for people to come back later. And actually, here, let me get you, Terry. Take and put your links in, and when people come back later, they can come check your channels out. I put Horrors in. That's Horror Collector's link. Hey, Cynthia. And what I do when I go to network with other channels is I'll go and watch some videos. And if I like their channel, I'll subscribe to their channel. And I'll let them know if I do. But this is a good way to network. When I go to add a channel, I try to go, you can leave the stream, go watch one of their videos. I try to find a short one when I'm in the middle of a networking stream and then come back. And that way you're legitly subscribed, because YouTube has been purging numbers. And I'm telling you, mine have been up and down, up and down. And I'm sure there probably are some people that add people and then delete them right back off. That happens all the time on Instagram. Because what a lot of people don't know, and I will teach this only because I have learned myself. Do you ever notice on Instagram where people have like 1 million some followers, or they have like a high number that can follow them? What a lot of people never think to search, though, is how many people can you follow back? Do you know that there is a limit? On Instagram, it is not unlimited. You can follow exactly 7,500 people, and Instagram cuts you off. And I think that's why a lot of businesses, like I kept getting hair extension places, they would add me to get my attention, and then when I would add them back, they would unfollow me. So actually, it's really not realistic to think that everybody that you follow is going to follow you back. but I don't know what it is on YouTube, but I do know your first 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. Okay, this is something that I also learned about YouTube. The first 2,000, when you first start, you're gonna get an error at some point that pops up and it says for something on it. It's because YouTube's cutting you off of how many you can follow. And why that is YouTube it actually has unlimited, but if you don't have that same amount following you back and you just keep following everybody else, every time you get to 2,000, it comes up with a 4K, it's like a 401 error or something. Because I was getting it and couldn't figure out why, and I Googled it, but Google took it down. So it's hard to Google now to prove this, but I Googled it and it said, as your channel grows. So in other words, when 2,000 people follow you back, then you can continue following people. But what their suggestion was until then, to go down through the people you're subscribed to and delete off the channels that are empty, because some people like abandon their channels sometimes, and that's what stops that error. But see, they don't tell you this stuff. It's not in their rules. It's nowhere I come to find out, because when I first started on social media, I was adding everybody because I don't know how it worked. I was new, and that's how I learned, was the hard way. But I don't know if you Google how many people you can follow. It used to be it would tell you on Instagram that you can follow up to 7,500 and that's your limit. Like, it totally cuts you off and you can't follow no more. Isn't that something? See, we only see the numbers, but we don't see the rules. Let me see if I can Google it for Instagram. Hold on. Because there used to be a number. It used to tell you. But people never think to ask that question. How many people can I follow on Instagram before I get cut off? Question. Here you go, people. Okay, I'm going to show you on my phone. See, I typed in how many people can I follow on Instagram before I get cut off. I hit the search. Check it out. To help reduce spam, Instagram doesn't allow anyone to follow more than 7,500 people. Anyone who tries to follow more than 7,500 people will see an error message. That's what happened to me. So I had to go through and see who was following me back to unsubscribe to them. Isn't that something? Learn something new every day. Hey, Sandy. But a lot of people never think to ask that question. So now we're going to change it to YouTube. What is the limit of subscribers on YouTube? See this? In general, you can subscribe to a maximum of 2,000 channels, but your subscription limit grows as your YouTube channel grows. So if you guys get that, that's what I was trying to explain to you. 2,000 is your first limit when you become a brand new channel. But as people follow you back, that's what allows you to expand your YouTube channel. See, I don't lie about this shit, people. I look this stuff up. And a lot of people don't know this because they don't think to ask this question. You know, they see 1,000,000 subscribers and they automatically think, oh, I can subscribe to 1,000,000 people. Well, guess what? You can't. Not right away. So as your channel grows past 2,000, a lot of people get that error and it doesn't tell you what that error is. But I started being like, okay, I've been in like 5 different streams. I can't add anybody. Why? So when I discovered it on Instagram, I decided to change it to YouTube and look what happened. So your first 2,000 is really easy. But if you don't have 2,000 channels subscribed back to you, you can't move. You're stuck with that error until your channel grows. So then what happens is people start to delete people. Like if this person doesn't come visit my channel or if it's an empty profile, let's go ahead and delete it. So I'm going to educate you with this stuff because I have been there. I have been through this. So just so you know that this happens. But it doesn't mean you can't subscribe to 2,000 people. It's just once your channel gets up to 2,000, then you can subscribe to more. But I kept hitting that error constantly. And then I found out why. So this is information that I want you to pass to other people who are, if you're talking to people trying to grow, this is why it happens that we can't do it really fast. And you'll see, like, if you look on Instagram, just as an example, okay, let me give you a good one. Okay, y'all know Jeffree Star. So we're going to go to Instagram and we're going to type in Jeffree Star. Somebody who's got a lot of following. Okay, so you go to Jeffree Star Instagram, look at what I'm trying to say. He's got 13.7 million followers, but he's only following 33 people. And that's why. That's why a lot of people only want people following them because they have a cutoff at 7,500 on Instagram. Hey, hot mess. Hot mess Missy. There's one of Ty's people. Well, thank you for stopping in. I love Ty. She's awesome. Yeah, I was trying to explain some things about the numbers in case people didn't know. Well, see, I don't though because see, I have a following on both places. When I was in the makeup community when I first started, and I definitely follow over 2,000 people in both places. But here's my account on Instagram. I have 2,001 followers and I'm following 2,820, but your cutoff is 7,500. So once you get there, you got to be careful who you follow that doesn't follow back because once you reach 7,500, you're done. Like it totally cuts you off. On YouTube, I definitely follow over 2,000 people because I don't always follow the same people back because some of these are companies or bigger channels that I like to watch. And YouTube, once you get 2,000 to 2,000 that you're following, you'll get a 401 error. It's a 4. It starts with a number 4. It's like 401 or something. You'll get this error and it won't let you follow anymore. Until 2,000 people follow you back, you can't go any higher until YouTube allows you. But 2,000 is the cutoff on YouTube until your channel grows bigger. But it's just to let people know in case you follow a bunch of people trying to get people to follow you back. This is just an educational purpose. Now, I don't know about other platforms. Like, I don't know about Facebook and all that. I just know these two because I got the errors. I was like, what? What do you mean you're giving me an error? But what can I say? I like following a variety of people and I don't pick just what's in my genre. You're welcome, Missy. Well, and I have to tell you guys, I love true crime. I like watching gamers. I like watching everything. I'm not stuck to one niche. I'm all over YouTube. And if you like an uncensored video, Sandy, I'm going to introduce him. If you can handle true crime and you can handle somebody uncensored, I'm going to promote this channel only because my neighbor did. My neighbor's hysterical. He says, "You got to check this guy out." So I did, and I actually love his channel. But you got to handle uncensorship or you'll never make it on here. If you can handle people cussing and stuff like that, you'll like this channel. But here is one of my latest and favorites. Thank you, Christine. This is my latest and favorite. His name is Dead Bug. He's a true crime because I like Mr. Ballin. I like following Danielle Kirsty and now Dead Bug. I got Sandy addicted to Dead Bug. All I have to say is I love watching his channel on my TV. See, my YouTube channel, you can tell, is for hobbies because it's not set up like a TV show. And like I said, kudos to the one that really put business and editing and everything into their channels because it is a lot of work and they do make themselves look like TV series. But Dead Bug, he sounds like a Godfather mafia. And I just love his channel because he's so uncensored. He's totally unfiltered. That's all I can say. And if you like true crime, you got to check his channel out. It's too funny. Oh my goodness. They're interesting. I have always been a true crime buff. I don't know what it is, but I love true crime. Anne Rule was my favorite author. She was an ex-police officer, and all I can say is she was so good of a writer. And it depressed me so bad when she passed away. I don't have all of her books, but I have some of her books, and she would have multiple cases in her books. And I actually got to have a talk with her daughter for real through Facebook. Because I told her, I said, I'm not sure if you're a fan page or if you're really her, because her daughter rates paranormal. I said, but I never was like a part of the club or anything. She goes, no, this is really me. She says, it's really the daughter. And I told her, I said, I just want to say I'm so sorry for the loss of your mother because I just loved her. I said, but she never knew I was a fan because I never joined anything where she would know. But I just love her books because I have read a lot of true crime novels. And the one thing that stood out about Anne Rule was she could really chronicle. Like you weren't confused when you read her books because like I had this one true crime book. It was terrible. I think it was called like Little Boy Blue or something about a father taking his son on killing sprees. It was like, but it was the horriblest book. It took me like 5 months to read it because it was just one of those books that would go back and forth from the past to the present. And you're like, where the heck am I at? You know what I mean? Like it wasn't chronically done in an order where you could understand. I hated that book. I wouldn't even put that in a yard sale because it was so bad. I think I threw it in the garbage because it was the saddest read ever. Like I didn't even get anything out of it because I couldn't figure out what tense we were in. I hate when books are written terribly. I wished I would have worked in a publishing firm because I would have definitely gave my opinion on books that were written bad. And that was just a terrible book. But I ended up pitching it because I didn't like it. And Ann Rule, when she writes, you know exactly where you're at. She gets the dates, the times, everything in order to where you can follow her books a lot easier. And that's the kind of I like a writer that captivates. And you know that if you put it down, you're not going to lose your place. That's the kind of writer I like. And she was one of my favorites for that reason. I like her. I like Danielle Steele. I like James Patterson. I like the Outlander series. I didn't even know that that was even a series. I remember I bought the book and I was thinking, oh, this is cool because this is like my favorite time travel by Diana Gabaldon. I think that's how you say her name. And I was watching Outlanders on Netflix. I told my husband, this looks so familiar. Here they were based off of her books. But her books are really good too. So she's my favorite time travel. Anne Rule's my favorite true crime. And then I like Danielle Steele because she puts twists in her books. And believe it or not, even though she's a romance writer, when she writes about Germany and the war and the background and Hitler and a few of her novels, that's actually truth. The things that she put in there. But it's like what she did with that was she wrote the history of the war, but then she would bring like a victim that got involved, you know, her romance twist into it was a victim that brought in a romance between a soldier and a girl or something like that. But a lot of her stuff on Germany was actually fact. So I liked her books not only because of it wasn't because of the romance value, it's because of her historical value. Because her books are really good when you read some of the beginnings. Now, she's had some books that's been like, hit or miss with me. Like her one Mistress wasn't that great. I just didn't I really wasn't a big fan of that. And I collected her books since I've been 15, so I have a lot of her hardbacks. And but my favorite was Palomino. That was one of my favorites of hers. I just really, really liked that whole story. And I think they had a mini series out on TV with it, and Jacqueline Smith played in, like, Message from Nam was a good one. She every once in a while, she'll put some good ones out there, but some of them are like, not so sure. The Clone and I was absolutely hysterical. Oh my gosh, if you ever wanna read a funny book, The Clone and I by Danielle Steele is absolutely funny. And then, what was it? Oh, her homeless book that she wrote when she talked to, and it's based on a true story. When her son died, she wrote a book on her son's life, who was bipolar manic depressive, and she also started some kind of uh, fundraising program to teach people mental illnesses. That's a good book to read. And then her homeless one, let me get the name of it. All the proceeds from this book went to the homeless, and this was a book where they actually went out and talked about what it was like to feed the homeless. She was a part of the group and what they saw. And it kills me hearing people always saying it's drunks and everything when you would be surprised at the people out on the street that have no habits whatsoever. A lot of them suffer from mental illness. It's called A Gift of Hope. And I don't know if they have this on an Audible or not, but hold on a second, I'll get the link. But this is a really good book to read for people that think that everybody on the street's an addict. Oh god, I hate when they do that because it's not true. This book. This is a really good book. Hey, 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 hey. There's Haley. How are you feeling today, Haley? But I like sharing some of my favorite books with people. And if you have a favorite book that you think is good, let me know. The book I just got done reading this week actually was Losing It by Valerie Bertinelli. That was actually a really good read too, because she was married to Eddie Van Halen, and she talks about um a lot of things that normal women go through, and when you're married to a musician and the kind of life they had and her weight issues, it was just such a good book. It's been out for a while, but it's just a really good book. I bought it off of thrift.com, and it's just a good book. And they do have it in Audibles if a person just wants to listen to it. And it says, I don't know if it's in podcasts too. Why am I getting videos? Oh, duh. Oh my God, Tammy, pay attention. I was freaking searching it, and YouTube search engine instead of Google. That's why I kept getting videos. I'm like, what the heck? They have it in paperback on thrift books for like $4.19. Oh, it's not gonna let me share the link because it's too big. But yeah, I thought Losing It was very educational in many ways because, you know, it talks about, her becoming a child star and her insecurities. Like, I'm not going to give away the book if you read it, but it was such a good read. I was really impressed. They even have it for $3.95. See if it'll let me do it here. Yeah, here it is, maybe. But anyways, let's see if that link works. But this is the book by Valerie Bertinelli that was really good. It was a really good read. And how she became a Jenny Craig spokesperson and stuff. It was just, I found it very fascinating. And I like it when people share their journeys like that because it helps so many people who are going through similar circumstances. Um, so, what do you guys think? And we're not going to turn this into a fighter debate about the Johnny Depp trial. My personal opinion the whole time, I felt that both of them were in the wrong. I watched bits and pieces of it. I'm not saying that I don't condone a lot of fakeness that the girl did during the trial, but I also seen Johnny laugh a few times. And I'm not talking from a movie star perspective on this subject. I'm talking if anybody was going through this particular thing, I don't feel that either one of them won. In my opinion, it kills me seeing all these videos where people say, Johnny won. Johnny, how did he win? They both got in trouble for defamation and have to pay each other. They both, I mean, don't get me wrong, I like him as an actor too, but I don't live with him. But when I did watch the videos that she caught of him slamming cabinets, all I can say is I do know what that's like to live with, and it's not fun. I'm going to share personal things today a little bit because I have been in a domestic situation before, and I have been around drug-related stuff, and I'm sure there's other people who have been. But my opinion is that I don't think anybody wins in a situation like this because he still is an addict regardless of the outcome. He still has issues. And the one clip that really got to me in the court case was when he come in the room. I mean, I think personally both of their personalities were going to clash because I do feel that she has a dominant type personality and that's going to clash with a person who has drug issues. But the part that got me where she cut the clip of him slamming the cabinets in the kitchen and that kind of stuff, because there was still an abuse coming from his side, even if he didn't hit her. He was still verbal. Because I have also been a bartender, and you cannot reason with a drunk. I don't care who they are. And when they have blackouts, they don't remember stuff they do. And I just think it's sad for people because this trial was defamation. The abuse and more details came up in it, but I'm really not happy with either of them. I think they were both at fault because it takes two to fight. And I didn't find any of this trial funny at all. There was parts where Johnny laughed in it, and I didn't find it funny. I don't find any of it funny. Because when I think of domestic violence and I think of a person even going through a divorce, I think it is a bad thing to have to go through, even if it's the right thing, because we're taught, at least I know I was at a young age, and when you say your vows, it's for better or worse. And when a marriage doesn't work, even though, it's never going to work, it's still hard to walk away from it and hold your head up without feeling some kind of shame. But I just think it's sad because of the people who enable this kind of stuff. I hate it when I sit there and see people doing videos. Johnny won. Johnny what? What did he win? I mean, seriously, what did he win? He came true to, his drug problems and things like that, and it was good to hear the confession that he told the truth about it, but what do you really win in a situation like this? I don't think either one of them won anything. But that's just how I feel. I just think it's sad. Yep, Kristen, there's a lot of people that have a lot of mental health issues for sure. And things are stressful. I mean, I've never had a mental health issue. I've had depression before a long time ago from circumstances that kind of threw me into one. But I still, even with the level head that I try to have in different perspectives of a whole picture of things, there's still some things in life I wish I hadn't seen. And you know what gets to me the worst? Is the freaking animal abuse commercials. Oh my God. I understand that they want to fundraise for, I just can't handle it. I flip the channel when that shit comes on. And it's sad because, like, when you're in Facebook and a freaking, you're like scrolling, and then all of a sudden this commercial comes up with this sad looking dog. I have to move on because I just want to cry every time an animal's abused. I hate it. And I understand that they want to show certain things, but gosh, I just wish they could just say, we rescue animals, we'll take a donation. I don't want to see the sad stuff. Just like, when they used to have the commercials on TV about people in third world countries, and you see these little kids with their bellies blown up because they have disease. I don't want to see that stuff. I understand that they wanna make an awareness so that people do it, but, oh god, you really have to show every detail? And it's not that I'm in denial. I know that there's a cruel world out there. I just don't like seeing it all the time. Me and my husband will sit and we'll be watching TV, and it's just like, we have to, like, leave the room because we have a dog. I can't even imagine, like, even in the hoarder shows, they have animals in the worst kinda circumstances, and it's like, "Oh, would you please?" When I watch hoarders, though, it makes me a better cleaner of my house. Seriously. For that reason, it's good, but I don't wanna know about the animals in the mess. Yeah, it does. Crafting is really good for mental health, I agree. I actually like cooking too. Yep, I've seen Craftless, a lot of people. Me too, Missy, me too. I'm the same way. It's like, oh, I like the first couple cases because they were milder and you didn't hear so much, but it's like but it does, I feel good too. Or another channel to watch too is if you can find minimalists on YouTube, they have, really good advice. I don't think I could become a minimalist because I think that's too much. Like, they don't have anything. You know, it's like furniture, carpet, and everything's spiffy, and they don't have a lot. I couldn't become a minimalist because I am a clutterer, but I just don't want to become a hoarder because that is something that kind of runs in my family. So I have to watch because I had a couple people who, through depression and because they were child of parents from the real depression, that they hoarded things because of that reason, because their parent did. Like, I had one grandmother who she would have, like, a wall filled with newspapers because during the depression, that was something that they learned is you save that for fires, potbelly stoves, and all that kinda stuff. Now, my grandmother wasn't too bad. She only had one room that was loaded with stuff, and it was, like, clothes from rummage sales and things like that. And it was kinda like her storage room because she didn't have an attic. So I can honestly say she wasn't too bad, but then she had a daughter, which was my aunt, it was horrible because she turned their whole basement into a hoarder place. Now her husband wouldn't allow it in the top part of the house. So I think because of him being alive, that he guided her through that. But all I can say is when she passed away and they went down because she would go for rummage sales and she was always getting clothes and food, it was never junk with her. It was things that people could use in the time of a depression. He literally unburied a baby grand piano that he didn't even know was down there. That's how many clothes she had piled on top of this piano. A piano. Could you imagine uncovering a piano in your house you didn't know was there? And part of the carpet had to be ripped out because there was mold, but when she passed away, they tore into it and they got it all out, but it was kept to the basement. My hoard right now is my bookstore because I had to use bookstore, and then when COVID hit, of course, I didn't have it open. 'Cause I'm a small business and it's in my house. It's in the bottom of my house. It's got its own entrance and parking and everything. But, because 'cause I'm, like, in a business district where my house is located anyways. But when I closed my store, I had started to do YouTube videos, which I'm gonna continue, but I told people because it seemed like when people found out I was here, this is what ended up happening. Now some of you might think this is a good thing, but it really isn't. Um when they found out that I had a used bookstore because of an announcement and, the marketplace and all that kind of stuff, people started leaving books outside my house, magazines, 8-track tape players. I had one girl drop off a whole shelf of nothing but music CDs. I kid you not. And I'm like, I'm a used bookstore. I can't take all this. And what it was people moving or people just dumping after yard sales. I became their dump place. So then I ended up overwhelmed when COVID happened because I shut and people kept calling me like, can you, because I would do a book pickup or whatever for people who had Kindles and they were flushing out their inventory because they didn't want their books anymore. Plus, I was buying children's books to keep up my children's section because that one's the one that sold out a lot because I kept the prices cheaper on that for, parents and stuff to be able to pick up books for their kids. And I also have a greeting card section in my store too. I had one, but it just got so bad that I had to tell people, stop dropping your stuff off. Now, a collector might kept on going if I had a warehouse or a place to keep the inventory, but I don't. So I had to start refusing people. That's how much stuff was being dropped off at my house. So I have to finish selling off the rest of my store, and I do have a license to sell. So what I do is I do book videos usually the whole month. I'll pick a genre, like usually February because it's Valentine's. I'll pick like the whole month of romance or whatever. I'm going to get back to my book videos soon because I have got to see if people are interested. And if they're not, then this is how I do because my whole bookstore was based on saving books from the landfill because I got tired of people throwing them away. They're not recycling them. They're not doing something with them. And we have a recycling place here that if it doesn't go anywhere, people can recycle. So what I'm doing is I put them on my YouTube channel, then I post them in the Facebook Marketplace, and then we have a community yard sale. They got 3 times to find a home. And if they don't, then I donate them to a place that's supposed to recycle. And sometimes that bugs me because this place says they do, but then some workers told me they don't. So I'm not really sure, but the whole thing was so that our landfill wasn't overblown with books because some of these are like brand new hardbacks. So that's what my whole point of doing my bookstore was built on. And now they have a couple places around that'll do pickups. And there was somebody else that took my concept because I put, don't throw your books away, call me. And that's how it started. And now there's another place doing it not far from me that'll come and pick them up. So it depends. I'm going to talk to the people one more time that I donate to and make sure they recycle. And if they don't, then I might call this other place because if you recycle, you get paid to recycle here. I don't know why people wouldn't do it, but usually I take them to the Goodwill or Salvation Army. And you would think because they're supposed to be raising money for people who need food and things that they would recycle and get paid than to throw them in the garbage. So I don't know. Because paper, I think, is like, I know it's like $75 for a ton. I mean, you don't get paid a lot, but it's gas money to take it there. I think the last time we took it, I made like $5 off of a quarter of a blazer of books, and I was okay with that because that $5 was my gas. Hey, Vix. Long time no see. Every time I think of Vix, I think of the Twix candy bars. My husband loves Twixes. He found something I thought was interesting. There's a sprinkle that looks like a, oh, come on. Why does my mind always go to a blank? When you have your herbs that you cook with, he found one that's an herb that's a Twix flavor. Can you believe that? I'm like, what are you going to use that on? Maybe like ice cream. you could. I don't know what you would use that on, but I was like, they really have a seasoning. It's like a spice, a seasoning that's Twix powder. I thought that was interesting. I never seen a candy one before. Yeah, it's upstairs sitting on my kitchen sink. It's a Twix seasoning, seriously. And I was like, "What?" I thought he brought home a new seasoning till I saw Twix on it. "Hey, Chris." I was like, "Wow." Um, I don't know, Kristen, because I don't. I mean, I have somebody close to me that suffers from manic depressive bipolar, and she's been in and out of medications, in and out of institutions to help her level out because she's on lithium and sometimes it unbalances her. But I don't treat her any different than I do anybody else. The only thing we have to watch her is when she goes into her manic state because she changes physically. She'll wear like bangles and bracelets clear up to her elbows. That's how we know she's coming into her mania state. But we have to be careful with her because she will get violent. If she's not on the right medication, I mean, she's taken a ball bat and busted out some windows before. So, yeah, she's got to be watched. But as far as how I treat people, I try to treat everybody the same. Yes, it sounds like ice cream would be so good. But I try not to treat people with mental health issues any different because I don't like walking on eggshells and I don't want them to feel like I'm treating them any different. You know what I mean? But before she became bipolar, manic depressive, as a little girl, I used to babysit her and I would read her bedtime stories and things like that. And it's just that age she hit right after high school. I think what it is, like 18 to early 20s, that sometimes it hits people. And that's what happened to her. And the sad part about it, I mean, I'll share some of this information, but the sad part about it, Chris, and this is what I think is sad about the whole thing, is the people who are in denial. Um, they have they don't take in consideration that she does have a mental health issue to the extent they should. And I feel bad for her at times because I feel like they think that she's gonna go back to who she was before the mental illness happened, and it's just not possible. It's not gonna happen. And the best way that I can describe it is this. It's like a revolving door. They took away a lot of our places for help here because, people were going crazy over brain shock and everything else. So we don't have like a mental place anymore for people to go to like they used to have like institutions around us that's close. But what I found in her case is first off, you have to be tested every so often with lithium. See, I have the same problem with drug addicts that I do with people with mental illnesses as far as our system's concerned. Because you're telling a person, okay, you have an addiction, you have a mental illness that struggle as it is. We're just going to do an outpatient with you. We're going to trust you as an addict to take these meds. We're going to trust you with this mental illness to take your meds. When some of these people lose track of time. That's what I don't understand about our system. It's messed up. They need to have places for people to help them maintain, you know, a schedule to where it's not an outpatient thing. It needs to be where it's addressed or they need to have a guardian to help them because I think that's where stuff gets messed up. So, what I have watched her go through, and this is what makes me sad about our system. Hey, Gemma. So, Gemma, you get to hear me talk about mental health issues and addiction issues. Um, Okay, so she goes in and you're supposed to be tested. I think it's every 6 months or something like that for, um, lithium. So what happened to her was she had so much lithium in her, they had to go find her. She was almost to the point where she could have overdosed on lithium. So what they did was they had to go look for her, and then they had to take her off of everything because that's how much lithium was in her system, and she wasn't going in to have it checked as regularly as she should because why? Well, she has a mental illness, that's why, and she would forget. So then she'll act out when she's off her medicine. I mean, I'm talking like she does crazy things. Like she'll take and bust out windows of a house, or she'll yell at people up and down the street because they're not giving her a cigarette. So guess what happens to her? Poof, there's the police. Poof, she's in jail. Poof, they find out jail's not the place this person needs to be. She needs a mental health facility. So then she gets shipped to the mental health facility. They finally get her balanced out on the meds she needs. She starts acting, normal to be okay in society again. So then they ship her back home, and guess what they do? Her doctor takes her off all the damn meds that they just leveled her off in. So then they screw her all up again. I can't tell you how many times this has been a revolving door. And she's back into jail, back into a mental health facility, back in. And so it's kind of like the best way I can explain it is like a multiple personality disorder. You introduce all the personalities to try to take him back to the main one. Well, what do you think happens to her? Every time they try to bring her back to normal, they can't because she loses a part of herself going through this repetitive journey. She will never be the same person she was before she came out with this mental illness. She's never going to go back to that person. And the sad people is people around her won't accept it. And that's what's even sadder because they don't realize, yes, she has a mental disorder. Yes, there's medication that can help level her out to where she's functional again, but she's never going to be the person she was before. And that's what makes it hard to watch this. It really does. And it's the same thing with addicts. Okay, look at this. You have a person with a drug addiction. You expect them to go to an outpatient clinic and take something like Suboxone, which is another addiction, in my opinion. And you expect them to come off of the Suboxone when it's just as harsh as heroin. But yet they're expecting these addicts to take care of themselves, and they can't. They're addicts. You know what I mean? They need to be in a hospital to get recovery. This is just my philosophy. And what they do is, okay, so they do a crime. Say I'm out robbing people because I got to have that fixed. What do? They end up in prison. Okay, so then they come out of prison. They owe a bunch of money to the people that they robbed, but they can't get a job because now they're a felon. It's like a vicious cycle that never stops. And then there's a list of only places that you can get hired to because you have a felon, and it's really harder on the boys. I've noticed on the males, it's really rough. So if they don't get a job, they don't pay the fines, guess what happens? They end up back in jail again. So how does this make sense? It doesn't make sense to me. I just I look at our system and I just think it's just so messed up for so many people. And I do feel bad for people who are trying to get clean and then they end up back in jail because they can't get a job to pay unless you have a family to help you and a place to stay. But what if you're on your own going through this and you can't get a job and you can't pay the money back? So you end up back in jail because you can't pay the fines. That's the things that just, it boggles my mind. Yeah, and it's sad. It's really sad. And I talked to a boy one time about this. I was at a courthouse and there was a the kid sitting there waiting for his case. And he was the one that told me, the addict himself. He says, it's so hard because I'm clean and I owe all these things against me. And he says, now I got to go to court today because I'm going to end up going back to jail because I can't get a job to help me pay it back. And I did check into it, and it's true. Now, a lot of times, if they come out and say they enter a program, especially girls, if they have a kid, they have actually a better chance because they can go to like a Narcotics Anonymous meeting or whatever meetings that they set them up with. If the people in the meetings see that they're coming and they're staying sober, they can actually have influence, especially because it's in churches and things that they go to these a lot of these meetings. They can get the influence from the people who are at the head of the meetings to get them jobs in certain places like Subway and places like that, to where they can pay their fines off, but still you have to live with somebody, because who can make it with a kid on Subway without any help? You have to have some kind of assistance for a job like that. But I have seen felons come out of it that have been girls with kids that way, and then, and they've stayed clean and they have done better with their lives. But then I see these poor males going through this that don't have, that kind of situation because they're not like a single dad. They have it harder. And I think it's the sympathy more for the kids. You know what I mean? I don't know. I've seen so much in the system that it drives me crazy. It's like you expect these kids to clean up, but you're not giving them a way to do it. Like, I'm not saying enable and pat them on the head for doing drugs. They did their time for their crime, but there needs to be a system set up if they stay clean for a period of time. Like, there needs to be a middle person, like a middle place these people can stay, to where they can say, okay, we have this community place you can stay. You stay clean, you go to your meetings, and then the next step is we'll help you get a job to where you can get out and do what you need to do to pay your fines back. One step at a time to get back into the, recovery. And it's just, there's nothing like that though. It's just, I don't know. I just think it's sad. But for the people who really do want to clean up, I feel like they need more help. And it's not realistic for a person to believe that an addict's just going to quit in 3 months recovery. It takes longer than that. But I don't know. It's just food for thought, They have all these programs for certain things, but they don't have people helping them enough to get them in the right direction. Or what if it's a foster kid? They don't have anything. They get handed a check when they turn 18 and they're released out unless the family lets them stay. And that's what I mean. What if it's a foster kid? What if they don't have nobody and they get involved in drugs or whatever, and they don't have no place to stay to get on their feet? That's what makes it tough. I don't know. I roll my brain around on a lot of things I see, and it just some of it just doesn't make sense to me, But I like thoughts and sharing about certain topics. I think it's really good. You know what's sad, Missy? I know a girl once who was having a meltdown that had mental health, and this is another thing that just pisses me off. She literally went to a place that's supposed to help with this kind of stuff. And the reason why I know is because I used to be a counselor for this place, and this is what I think is sad. They know she has a mental health issue. She goes down, she says, I'm having a meltdown. I really need to stay somewhere and I need therapy. And you know what she gets told? Where's your insurance card? Do you have an insurance card? Well, no, I don't have an insurance card. I have to get on insurance. Well, we can't help you. Hello? Isn't that their purpose? A mental health facility is supposed to help people. It shouldn't be, "Where's your health card?" It's that's the kind of stuff that doesn't make sense to me, because that's when it makes it all about money, and it's not about helping people. If I have a person and I was running a health facility, I don't care, and they come to me saying, I'm having a meltdown, I need counseling." What do you think I'm gonna do? I'm sure to hell not gonna say, "Where's your health card?" and turn them right back out to the street. Okay, just go ahead and commit suicide. Go ahead and do something stupid. I mean, hello? That's another part I hate, is that they don't do anything to help the people when that's what their company stands for. I just ugh, it's craziness. Because, to me, I feel that even if the person doesn't have an insurance card, why can't the mental health facility help with that too? Why can't they have the resources to help that person get a card or have funds to back up a person in need, to where they can spot him for later? Like, you do what you have to do to save a person's life is what I'm trying to say. It is, it's horrible. And that person didn't know what to do. She's like, "I can't believe that I went there and I told them I was having a meltdown and I needed help, and they turned me away because I didn't have an insurance card." It's just frustrating. Yeah, but you shouldn't have to go to the ER for that. You should be able to go to a mental health facility and get your mental help. I don't know. I just think it's vicious. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying, Vix. Exactly. It's just craziness. Total craziness. So I have some pictures left from my dad's journal I made. So that's what my page is dedicated to today. We're going to do a couple glue book pages. I don't know if I want to use this big one or not. Guess I could. I like this picture. I think this picture is so cool. We'll put it over here. But I'm going to use some of these. I'm going to make a page for the railroad dedicated to my father because he loves his trains. But these topics are so interesting, and that's one of the things I love about Gemma when she comes in here. Gemma's Journey's Grace is that she educates people about autism. She'll see things, and she uses her YouTube channel to reach out to autistic families and helps people, point them in the right direction, things they need to talk about. And I love that. Some people have amazing YouTube channels out there that they really try to help people. And I think that's awesome. That's just like when they took the homeless. I think it was a church in Tennessee. I seen this on where they were building tiny homes for homeless people and letting them live right in the parking lot. It was just enough for a bed with some plywood, enough for a bed, enough for a TV, and they had electric. I don't know about showers. I can't remember. But it was just enough for a person to live in. And then what they would do, excuse me, is that they would stay there, and they had like a fire, and they had like a community thing going on where they could eat and stuff, like, bring dishes or whatever, and people would help them through the church. And then they would help them find jobs. And then if they get jobs, then they were able to work their way to move up. And that's what I think they should do with people who are going through this kind of stuff too. Just it's like a layover until you can get on your feet. See, that's just like the one person I know, she gets, disability checks and stuff, being the bipolar manic depressive person. She has money coming in and she has the insurance, but it's just the fact that it's her meds. Sometimes the medicine is worse than the mental illness itself, and when her levels went out of whack with the lithium, like I said, she's supposed to be tested every 6 months. And they went looking for her because she was almost at OD level, and then they had to take her off of everything, and, like, she had to have a break from it, and there's a lot to know about the medications on top of the mental illnesses too. So, she got regular, but like I said, when she's coming off of stuff, she goes into a bad manic, and you don't know what she's gonna do. So then they get her back on her medicine and everything, and it's not that she doesn't have the insurance and that she doesn't have the medicine and stuff. It's just that the doctors keep switching her on stuff, and then they wonder why she gets messed up. And it's just they put her on experimental things. I don't know. It's just to me that in itself is another whole topic of craziness. Because this was a different person. This isn't the one that went with the meltdown. This was a complete different person, but it was like, holy moly. I mean, the struggle's real. I can't even keep up with it with a sane mind. So I can't even imagine what it's like to have a mental illness having to deal with all of this. And I know another person that has a mental illness, and what she does with hers, she has a calendar every day. She has her day laid out. She has to have total organization to handle everything that she goes through. And she even told me without it, she would be lost. So it all depends on who sets you up, how they set you up, and what you can handle and what you can't. But I just feel like that there are some people that have a mental illness worse than others, and they have a harder struggle. I'm trying to lay out over here. Let's see what this looks like. I love a glue book. Glue books are such fun. This here is a we have a clock here. I like this piece here. It's a train station. Where we could do this. Like, yeah, she teaches people, and I love it that she does that. She's so cute. And she collects Elvis. Oh, that's another thing. She was in here, she'd be like, "What? I actually saw somebody do an auction on Elvis items." Every time I see Elvis now, I think of her. She did her video on her channel where she showed her collection of Elvis items. I thought that was so cute. My mother used to love Elvis. She had bubblegum cards and all kinds of Elvis paraphernalia. Put this here. It's so cute to see somebody in the younger generation still into him. There's a lot of incredible channels on here, though. There really are. It's just finding them all. That's why I like going outside the community that I'm a part of because I actually enjoy, the different things that people are into or they want to express on their channels. Gotta have a train track. This is fun. I enjoy my glue books. You ever have a day that you just want to play with stuff? Especially rainy days. I like scrapbooking or doodling. Yes. Yes, Vix, I am. It's awesome. I want to put a garden outside, actually. I have some plants in the front of my house, and I see butterflies out there. Speaking of butterflies, but I miss my flower garden. I used to have a little flower garden at my old house, and I haven't put one in here yet. Heck, I want to buy a baby pool for my doggie, and I want to go sit in it with her. It's funny. I was just telling Sandy, me and her were talking about the dogs I had. Oh my goodness, at one time I was like the Brady Bunch. I had, I think it was 5 dogs and 4 cats, or 6 dogs and 4 cats. I can't remember. It's the most animals I've ever had at one time. And oh my gosh, they were so stinking cute. And I had a dog named Duchess. She was the run of the litter. She would stick her nose in the baby pool and blow. She could have been a circus dog. She loved blowing bubbles. Hey, Metro. They were like my kids. And so every year we would buy a baby pool and just let them go. But Shadow always had to be last in the pool. I literally had a dog that peed in the pool. She was like a kid. She was absolutely hysterical. So all my other dogs would get a turn, and then she would go in. As soon as her belly would hit that water, poof, she would pee. I could see the water going yellow. And I'm like, really, Shadow? So could only fill up the pool so much because it's heavy when it's filled. So I would only fill it up so much with water that I have to take Blue Dawn and rinse it out real good with the hose because she was my baby that peed in the pool. Oh my gosh, it cracked me up. I said, who would have ever thought a fur baby would do that? And I'm like, can't you hold it? And she would just look at me like, no, Mom. She peed in the pool. Hey, Sandy, are you still in here? Sandy. Where you at, Sandy? Hey, Nikki. Let's see if Sandy's still in here. If she's in here, I'm going to ask her permission for something. Nikki. Nikki's our makeup guru. I love it because she sits and talks and chats with us while she does her makeup. Doing your brows. I have one wonky hair on my one eyebrow. Boy, does it need something. So I'm going to show you mine first. I don't know if Sandy's still in here or not. Let me get her up here. Gotta get my gallery up here. I'm going to show you my baby. I hope that it doesn't echo. Wait a minute. She's so funny. Hold on, let me pause it. Come on. Yeah, that's not what I want to do. I don't want to share it. Come on, pause. Okay. My phone's not going to cooperate. Well, anyway, let me turn this up just a little bit. Hey, Tim. I'm going to show you my puppy. You might hear an echo. Let me see. Come on. Why won't it work? Hold on. Is that? Oh, there it goes. Wait. It was muted. Hold on.
Speak. Tell Sandy hi. Say hi, Sandy. Speak. Good girl. It's your mommy, baby. Speak. Tell Sandy hi. Say hi, Sandy. Speak. Good girl. It's your mommy, baby.
That's my Rooney. I just love her. That's my baby. Sandy, where are you? I want to show your baby. You got to see her baby. I love my puppy. She's so cute. She's my cuddle bug. I call her Roni Pepperoni because we live in an Italian town. I call her Roni. I call her Tootsie Roll. Sandy, do you allow me to show Bonnie's video? I kept hollering for your name. I want to ask your permission. Can I show Bonnie's video? I got to show Sandy's puppy. She's so cute. Okay, here's Sandy's dog. Wait a minute. Let me pour up here. Look. Look how cute she is. Look at Bonnie. She looks like a bandit. Look how cute. I love her. She's like, I got my spa day. Look at me. I look spiffy and I look cute. Look at her little ears and her bushy little tail. She's so cute. I love her. I like her bandit eyes. Look at her. When she's doing that, Sandy, she reminds me of a little horse bucking. Isn't she cute? Look at her back feet. I think she's adorable. Metro's got some cute dogs too. I love our fur babies. Bonnie takes the cake. She's so stinking cute. Oh my goodness. Sammy's in that video, and I'm like, nobody's getting on her back, buddy. She's like, I'll buck them off. I know. Isn't that little mask of hers cute? She's so cute. What mine does is she's addicted to Frosty Paws. And I don't know if you know what those treats are. They're in the frozen section. By our ice cream. Well, when my husband is done eating, she knows it's time for her Frosty Paws. So she'll sit in his face and goes, she makes so monkey sound. And then he'll close his eyes and pretends like she's sleeping. She goes, ruff. She gives this little bark. And Then he tries to close his eyes again, and she does it again. And we have a barking session every night with her before we go to bed. And her barking session, you have to participate. So you got to know how to bark. She'll go up to see her reflection in this one mirror we have in the living room, and she'll start barking at herself. And then we bark, and it echoes through the house, and then she barks. It's so funny. I have no clue what we're saying to her bark-wise. But me, her, and my husband get in this barking session, and he gets a real deep bark. He'll go, woof, and she starts. It's hysterical. And she'll keep it going for like 15 minutes. She will not stop barking to reply. I love her. She's awesome. That's the kind of evenings we have. We sit here barking at our dog. Oh my gosh. They are. My husband told my daughter one day, Nikki, he said, my oldest daughter was here. And he goes, she's the best daughter I ever raised. And my oldest daughter is like, really, Dad? It was funny. And I said, well, he can't say that she doesn't talk back because she sure does when she wants something. It's too funny. Here, we have a place to put that piece. So we're going to put that down. But yeah, I love our fur baby. She can be a bed hog though. She can't just lay straight up and down between us. She has to lay this way and knock us off the bed. Oh my goodness. She's a cutie patootie. I don't know what else to add to this. Let's see. I guess I could bling it a little. I have this color. Let me see what this does. As long as it's not clogged. That is. Okay. We can bling. I don't have any red. If I had this in red, it'd be nice too. I only have like blues though. What can we bling? I don't know what to. Here, we can bling the railroad. Let's bling this rail piece. We're going to use some stickles. We're going to bling it. I want something in here that's shiny. Stickles are so much fun to play with. Nice if I had some weight in here too. Let me see what I have in glitter glue. Put that away. I don't know if I have any silver. I think it was my silver that was kind of dried out. This for now. Look how pretty. See the stickles? Let me see if I can. Come on, there it is. There's the stickles. Give it some shine. Oh, I could use red and green on these. And then we'll just let it dry. I don't know how good these are because I haven't used these in a while, but Gotta go. There's a red. Wipe this off. We'll do a green. Come on, go. There we go, a little bit bigger. Go. There. These little glitter classics are kind of cute. Come in like these little tubes. Elmer's Classic Glitter Glue. You get all these pretty colors. So there's those. And what else? Excuse me. Let me see right here. What do I got? My little basket of goodies. Here, we'll use this. This is called the Nuvo Dream Drops. I love these things. They come in the coolest containers too. Cool that is. Looks like little jewels. So we'll take this and give these little headlights down here some pearlescence. Those little dots that you can buy in the Dollar Tree with stickers, that's what Nuvo Drops make. Then I have an antique yellow. Where is that at? No, that's not it. Let me find it. There it is. So we'll take this, take it on the sides here. Hold on. These are fun. You can make dots with them. You can draw names with them. Take it this way. And they're just, these are meant to like add accents and decorate up your picture some. And they're a lot of fun. They come in a bunch of different colors. One of my fun crafty stuff. And what else? Do I have any like a gray looking color or, oh, this is one of my favorites. This one here is called Dragon Scales. Okay, so let's see what we can put on here. Let's just make sure there's no bubbles. Dragon Scales is like a really pretty greenish shimmer. So we'll go over here. Make sure I don't touch nothing wet. I like sticking my fingers in stuff by accident. I do it all the time. And we'll put Dragon Scales on the little parts of this tunnel. See how this turns out. These are great for accenting flowers. and things like that. So we'll do that. And then let's take, let's see what else I have in here. Do I have like gold? No, I don't. But I do have a gold glitter. Let's try this. We'll do the gold glitter at the end of the tunnel. Wipe my tips off. I'm really bad at this, forgetting to wipe the tips and stuff off my glue, and then my lids get stuck shut. So I have to be careful. Yeah, these, I like playing with little accents. I think they're fun. And then, do I have a red? No, I have like a pinkish red. It's not red enough. What about this one? Nope, too pinkish. We'll leave the stop alone. Okay. And anything else I want to add? So look how pretty. It's got the green. It's like a real pretty mint green that I outlined as little pieces with. And then there's the yellow. There's the green and red. Just gives it a little pop. And then there's the pearly white lights I added. And those will dry dimensional. And one thing I like about the Nuvo drops is they level out. Like you don't get like perks off of them. They level out pretty good. I love this little, I bought one of those carts that you store stuff on. That thing's amazing because I can sit my stuff right beside me and reach it for the most part. You guys ever drink those Hawaiian flavored things that kids drink in your water? They taste good. Excuse me, they're probably not good for you, but every once in a while, I like it. Thank you, Metro. Your girlfriend draws the prettiest pictures. I so enjoyed the tour you gave us of the stuff that she draws. You ever think she'll do a crafting channel? That would be really cool. Tell her if she ever decides she wants to craft live, she can always come on my stream and craft. His girlfriend's so cute and she's so talented. Sometimes I'll stick like I don't want to shut my page, but I'll put like borders and different things on my pages, but I didn't do it with this one. And I did. Look what I did. You see what I did? Look what I did. Told you I'd poke something. Tim, you just stuck your finger in it. I just got the green on the other page. And I just stuck my arm in the yellow. I'm so messy. We're just going to leave it alone. See, that's what happens when you have bloopers as a crafter. I call my grandson Messy Marvin. I tell him I'm Messy Marvin all the time. So I don't think there's anything else that I really want to add to that. We'll just let it dry. This was fun though. I love doing stuff like this. I think it is such fun. I recommend everybody do a glue book. So, if I decided to do a list of prompts, a thing that we can do, not nothing drastic, but a list of prompts, like we could do 1, 2, and 3 and just do one thing at a time, which is not going to take that much time. Would anybody be interested in crafting with me while we craft during a live? I found a list that I thought was really cute. Or we could pick like a certain amount. We could do like 5 things at a time or one thing at a time. But what I'll do is I'll go through the list each week on Wednesday, and I'll give you each number to the list of what to collect. And then when we're done with our collecting, we can come together and do something. Now, this is something that I want to do in the future because I think it'd be fun. I have not opened my set to private Facebook page yet, but yes, I'm going to start a group page. I have a name that I made up for it, and I'm also going to launch an Etsy store in the same name. And it's going to be a little while yet because I'm trying to get stuff built up to put in my Etsy that I've been working on when I can. And I have new business cards coming in. I'm so excited about these business cards. And what I'm going to do is, because it has my YouTube channel name and everything on it. And I thought it would be fun if anybody wants to do a craft along with certain items, that when we're done with the live, you can post them in the group. But I'll get the list of what we can gather, and it's going to be easy stuff. So that way everybody has a chance to do a crafting project with me. But I'll get the list and I'm going to run it off. And then when we do it, when I open the group, we can post it in there. But I thought something like that would be fun. It's kind of like a scavenger hunt to get the stuff. And then once we create whatever we want with it, we can post it in the group. What do you think? You think it'd be fun? Take care, Vix. You too. And thank you for coming. Welcome back, Tim. Let me put Tim's link in here too. This is Tim's channel. I hated that just the people in blue can share their links. You're welcome. And it's not everybody. What? You talking about Iggy and you? Do you need Iggy? Do you want to get jiggy with it? But when I go to launch the Facebook page, I think it'd be fun to have projects to put in it. What you talking about with us? Aw, Vix. You know, my pages are really random, believe it or not. Some of them's junk mail. You're so funny, Denise. The Vintage Hippies, Denise. Here, we'll put her channel in. Did you all post your channels in here? We were supposed to go live the next time after my live, but she didn't feel good, so we didn't get to do our live last week because we craft on Vintage Hippies channel usually the Thursday after her live sale. So like this week she has a sale and next week she'll do a craft and chat. If she doesn't, Sandy, we will hunt her down. That's Denise's channel I just stuck in. Oh, we got to put Nikki's channel in here too. Nikki's fun. She likes to do makeup and chat with us on different topics. Let me get Nikki's channel. That way everybody can find everybody. I think it's fun. You're welcome to build up a really nice community where we can all visit each other. That's how I am looking at. And then Metro, let me get his channel. That's how I feel about community. It's like instead of a community yard sale, we have a community YouTube place to go visit each other. There's Metro's channel. I mod for him too. He likes to come on and update us. He's so sweet. Thank you, Tim. Tim is somebody I just met through Paul. And I'm telling you, we had the best 2 days networking. We had so much fun. Paul started the networking in his channel and then he had us raid. And raids are fun because what he did was when he talked with us for a little bit, like I'm doing you guys, and then he put Paul raid. And then we would hop into the link and go visit their channel and put in Paul raid to let them know we came from his channel. And that's how you network. And then you go to the people's channels in the stream, you check out their content, you leave a message and all that fun. That's how I like to network. I think it's a lot of fun. Who's on right now? Since I'm on 2 devices, I can get away with this. Wait a minute here. Let me see who's live. It'd be nice if Paul was live because I would go raid him. But I don't think he's on right now. Let me see. We'll have to do a Paul raid one night. We'll have to catch somebody on one night. We'll have to do a raid. Or I just might come on live random and wait till people come in and then we'll do a raid. But it's almost like a hop and it's so much fun. I haven't done one of these since Commander used to do them. He used to do these all the time and it was a lot of fun. Nope, I don't have anybody on. I see Ronald. Oh, they are a blast. Ronald's on. Let me see here. Let me check for sure. Yes. Ronald Dragon of America. So this is what you do. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring his link to this live stream. This is what you do. You go in here and you tell him Tammy's raid. This is what we're going to do, Denise. I'll teach you how to do a raid. So he's live right now. So go in here, say Tammy raid, say hello, and then come back because I'm going to. In the middle of my live, we're going to go raid somebody's channel. Well, get over here. You got to come in and type Tammy raid. Click the link. There you go. She did it. Denise did it. I love it. This is how you do a raid. You can come watch if you've never done one. This is so much fun. And then what you do is if you like the channel, they're friendly, and then you subscribe to their channel. That's how it works. I know you guys did it. Yay, I'm so proud of you. But that's how you build up networking. And it's a lot of fun because it's a legit way to network. And you get to meet some really cool people and build up a good community. And that's how you properly network on YouTube. It's a lot of fun because sometimes you get in these streams and there's a lot of people and it moves really fast. And then what you do is you go check out each person as you're in the live stream. They run the live stream for a while, like a couple hours or so. And you go visit and then you come back and then you go visit somebody else in the stream and then you come back just long enough. Like I'll pick short videos they have like a couple minutes and I'll watch to give them full watch time. And then what I do is give a comment because once you subscribe and comment, you're legitly subscribed to that channel instead of just subscribing and never going. Then what happens is if they have a really long video, what I'll do is watch like the first couple minutes and then I'll leave it and I'll come back and finish watching. I'm a full watch time person. That's just how I roll when I do YouTube. I always watch in full. Sometimes if it's a gaming channel, I'll let it play while I'm doing laundry or whatever. But I always give full watch to every video. But that's how we do it. And it's a lot of fun. I met a lady named T today. She was very welcoming to her channel. Her mods were really friendly. This past couple weeks has been so disappointing because people who I have been subscribed to, but I had not been to their channels yet to really thoroughly check them out. Do you know I went into 2 channels this past week and not one of their mods said hello? And I'm thinking, what kind of mods do you have? And then I finally said it to one of the gamers that I've been on his channel for a while. I go, I come in here, you literally have 6 mods, and I did not get one hello. That's not very welcoming. And he come out and said, well, we are really friendly. And then everybody's, hey, hey, hey. And I go, but the point is, what you don't understand is when someone new comes in, how much of an effort is it to say hi? People like to make it feel welcome. And I said, I hope to goodness everybody feels welcome that comes in here because I don't ever want to shun anybody or make them feel like they don't belong. And after that, they were fine. But I had to speak up just to get a hello. And the kind of mods that I like are interactive ones. I like that we chat. I like that we say hello to people because that's a proper way to run a live stream. So that's the kind of people I like when I go into a stream, you know? And if I don't feel welcome, I ain't coming back to your stream. I mean, you don't have to say, if you're busy talking and you miss people, that happens, but I will give a channel like 2 times of a visit. And if I don't at least get a hello by one person in there, I won't go back. Because to me, that's not a very good welcoming committee. You better feel welcome here, Sandy. If you don't, I know where you live. I'll come down there and spank you, woman. I don't know. Sassy Sandy might spank me back. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's crazy. Or if you go into one and you have a bunch of people like talking on a panel and nobody pays attention to the people texting in the room. That drives me crazy too, Denise. I have a lot of pet peeves when it comes to stuff like that because it's just not my opinion. It's feedback I got when I used to run a Yahoo chat room. You know, the people would be like, please pay attention to the texters, or I've been in 5 different rooms and nobody would say hello and you all said hello, so I'm staying. Like, it was different feedback from different people, and people want to be noticed, and especially when you're trying to build a channel on here or not. You know, everybody wants to be noticed when they come and show support, because I think of it this way. There's tons of YouTube channels. I mean, there's tons I'll probably never even meet. And that's why I like when people give me their favorite channels so that I can actually go out and explore and find people. And I just feel that you're putting all this work into something, or even play or whatever. You could be anywhere and you come to my channel. That means a lot to me because there's a lot on YouTube and other platforms. You know, they have Twitch and all these different platforms that people can play on. So I think it's amazing when somebody comes and visits my channel. Hey, Sandy! There's our sweet Sandy. My biggest thing is, if the seller has visitors pop in and they don't know it, that's different. But my thing is allowed TV. That is so annoying. When you have a seller and they have a moderator helping them, and the seller's quiet, they're concentrating, they're doing really good with their sale, and their mod has a loud TV drowning out the seller, to me, that's a sabotage. They should mute their side when all they're doing is typing stuff into the room. I would never do that to another seller. I'm doing good, Sandy. Hanging in there. I have a headache though. I think a lot of it's because of air conditioning, and it's giving me a little sinus issues. I had a headache all day today. Yes, Sandy, that's right. Or the other person is doing their dishes or clanking dishes. Like when a person's selling, it's like, come on, people, be a little respectful to the seller. And I think that's why I never have a moderator. When I do mine, my husband either moderates. Heck, you hear him complain enough. And I don't like to mod and unmod people. And the only reason why I don't like doing that is because one time, and I did tell another person this here yesterday. One time YouTube went on a glitch. This was such a mess. I felt so sorry for the seller. I can't remember whose sale I was in that day, but there was somebody selling and YouTube decided to have a fit. It took 15 minutes for the blue mod to show. So here this poor person is getting ready to sell. She has a moderator who's not in blue helping her. She was trying to unmod everybody so people wouldn't get confused and mod the person that was helping her to put the text in, and the mod wouldn't take. It took 15 minutes for that person to turn blue. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is awful. So that's why I don't mod and unmod people. You know what I mean? I when I mod people, I rather just leave them modded because it's too much. Well, I don't have a problem, like I said, if a person comes into a room and they start talking to somebody, I don't have a problem with that, Sandy, but we're talking about Sandy with a Y. We're talking about people who purposely sabotage. Like there's a seller who was asked by a couple people to turn their background TV down because you couldn't hear the seller. The whole time they're selling, you hear their TV blaring. Not only is that illegal on YouTube for copyright purposes, you can't listen to the news and somebody else's stuff over your channel. That's a big no-no on YouTube. If you're monetized, you could get a copyright strike against your against your channel for that. So no, you can't. The person who's modding needs to mute on their side to prevent that because they're showing no respect for the seller. There's a difference between it being family time and stuff that's not allowed. Or they're clanking dishes while the person's selling. It's like if you're there to moderate, you are there to give the seller your attention. If not, then you shouldn't be moderating. But I'm a hillbilly too. Hell, I'm in West Virginia. Hey, Kyle. How are you? Thanks for stopping. We just did a room raid. Because even somebody who like we had a lady who vlogged her vacation, Sandy, and she had the radio on. She got a copyright strike against her channel because Journey came on her radio. They even do that to gamers. They have like their favorite gamers on here, but okay, say you buy a PlayStation game or your son plays PlayStation or something and they're playing the game on the stream and they have a gaming stream. Do you know if a song comes up in that game that's copyright strike, you could get in trouble. But yet they have bigger gamers on YouTube, they allow to get away with that. But then some people aren't allowed. These are people who've given me feedback of stuff that's happened on their own channels. This one gamer was furious because he says, I bought the game and he was new to YouTube. And he said, I had no clue you could get copyright strike for a song in your game. So he was not happy. My family almost settled in Kentucky. My mom and dad did, but they ended up moving up here. Because it's copyrighted and you can't play music on your YouTube channel. But I get it because I like your Journey too, but you're not allowed. Pegasus that comes in here, he has a relaxing stream late at night. He comes in here under a couple different names, but I met him under Pegasus. He comes under Crypt Keeper. He plays nothing but copyrighted music on his channel, and YouTube constantly takes his stream out. He only does it for fun. He doesn't post them. He'll play music for us at night sometimes. It's just a nice channel to unwind. And he has a bot, and all you do is type in !SR and whatever song you want to play by who. Like I can put something in by Tim McGraw or whatever, and it'll play, and he can get away with it for so long, and then all of a sudden YouTube cuts his stream off in the middle of playing. Sandy's been in his stream before, and he gets emails all the time from YouTube. He's always getting yelled at for playing copyrighted music. Yeah, we play all kinds of music in his stream. We play rock, we play country, just whatever you feel like listening to. He takes requests through the bot, but he gets in trouble for it. I've been to Louisville. When I was like 11 or 13, my dad had to take a trip down there for his mill. He used to work in a paper plant and something busted and he had to go down and pick up a roll or something. And I went with him. So I've been to Louisville, Kentucky years ago. That's funny. But I'm in the top of West Virginia, Sandy. My parents, like I said, they almost settled there. And I think my brother was born in Virginia. They traveled all over the place when they first got married before they when my mom got pregnant with my brother, they kept on traveling and then they decided to come back home because my mom said there every time they were out on the road, somebody would pass away and they would have to come home. So mom and dad decided to just settle back here. But like what we were talking about before, now when Viv sells, sometimes her son comes in and talks to her. That to me is family time. That doesn't bother me when the kids come in and they want something from their mom and stuff like that. That's not the kind of disruption I'm talking about. I'm talking about purposely people letting things happen when they shouldn't, because they should respect the seller. There's a lot of sellers on here that sell because they need the money and people don't want to stay, especially if they have earplugs in and you're hearing a TV blaring over the sale. I wouldn't stay in that sale either. I would leave. I got broken on earplugs clear back in Yahoo because we used to have very ignorant people in the chat rooms that would decide to belch in your ear or sound like they were hogging the mic down their throat. We'd get these Egyptian guys that would come in chat going, ah, and it was ridiculous. And I literally quit wearing earplugs because they hurt my ears. So I swore I would never wear earplugs again. All of my microphones and it's all open, my microphones and stuff. And belchers are the worst. People that just belch in your ear, don't even say excuse me, are the rudest people ever. So yeah, you won't hear me with earbuds on. The only time I wear earbuds is if I know it's a safe seller and I know their mod is quieter, and then I will wear earbuds, like when my husband's watching TV or something, not to disrupt his program with my sale that I'm watching. That's the only time that I will wear earbuds. But you can have a lot of rude people on here for sure. Lots. I've been on the web since 2001. I have plenty of experience for sure. I do not miss AOL dial-up. AOL dial-up was horrible. I remember we'd always have to constantly call our friends asking what the phone number was that they got on the internet with because they kept switching numbers on us. It was horrible. And I find auctions very stressful. I do better when there's a large quantity and it's just a me. Auctions are just, ugh. Okay. So I added more bling bling to this, but I love this page because it'll represent my dad forever. His trains. I can't wait till he gets his gift I made. He's doing good. Sandy. Oh, not me. Ugh, I sweat too much for that, especially if it's something vintage and you know you can't get it. Sometimes the books on offer up so you can search them and get them cheaper, or sometimes you can find them. But oof, I'm not good with auctions. They make my heart race. He's home and spunky as ever. He is hysterical. I was teasing him the other day because both of me and him are on a diet. Well, he's forced to be on a diet because of what happened. But he's lost a lot of weight since his surgery. And it was so funny because I told my dad, I said, I could see my belly button. That's what I told him. See what my dad said to me. He says, I can see my feet. Because my dad's really funny. His body, like if you are behind him, he has no butt. He's like a flat stick from the top of his back down. Like he had no weight. But when he turned around sideways, he looks like he has twins in his gut. And we tease him all the time because he's a late night refrigerator raider. But when he was in the hospital, he didn't really have to like eat a special diet. It's just he wasn't moving, so he wasn't that hungry because he was bedridden. He said, they keep bringing me these trays of food and I can't eat it all. Well, then since he's lost all his weight, it was so funny. He said, I could see my feet. He cracks me up. But he was on his walker scooching around the house. Like he does like certain exercises because they had, of course, therapy come in to take care of him. And now he's to the point where he doesn't have to have it. They quit doing it a couple weeks ago. So he's doing really good. But he lifted his shirt up and yeah, it was funny. He lifted his shirt up and showed where they cut him. He says, look what they did. He pulls his t-shirt off. He's like, they cut me with a saw. I said, like you were aboard, huh, Dad? And it was just so funny because I told him, I said, I watched Grey's Anatomy. And I said it, and it showed some of the tools. And I said, it basically is. I said, you were cut open like a sawmill person. But he's just, I think he's just thankful, you know. But he's very lucky because he, like he said, I'm so fortunate because my grandfather, his dad, got hit in the head in his mill. Never, always have head injuries checked. I don't know how much I can express this to people because you would not believe how many people get head injuries and they think it's no big deal and they die. And that's what happened to my grandfather, my dad's dad. He did not, and he was having bleeding on the brain and he died. And he never got to see his there. I was 2 years old, so I don't even remember him. But he never got to see his great grandkids and so forth. Where my dad says, I feel so blessed because I've got to see my grandkids grow up, my kids grow up, now my great grandkids. And he just feels so blessed in that area because he got to see more than what his dad got to see. So he's just really thankful that the surgery, and he had a wonderful surgeon. So he was very lucky. Surgeon told us he was very lucky because he had 3 clogged arteries. But my dad asked him if it was anything that he did. Like, as he says, is it like foods I ate that? And he says, no, it just happened with age because you're up in your 70s. It's just something that happened. And his wasn't even any kind of pain. You know, like you hear people say, right before my heart attack, I was having chest pains and it shot down my arm and such. My dad's explanation was I had heartburn. He said, and I took a couple Tums and it went away. Well, then it happened again later that early in the morning. So he went to take a couple Tums, but it didn't work that time. And then all of a sudden he broke in a sweat. And he knew that it was a different symptom he had never experienced before. And this is what took him to the emergency room. He called my brother. He says, I need to go to the ER right now. And my brother took him. He had no tingles down his arms, nothing. It was just a heartburn. And he said, and I'm so glad I went in because the doctor told him he was very lucky. Oh, yes. He's our rock for sure, him and my mom both. Now my mother, she fell in her church parking lot. They had bad ice. She's a definite church person. My mother is. Her mother was, and so was my mom. And my grandmother, her mother played the piano in the church, and she was very dedicated. So my mom goes to the church she went to, and they walked out, and the side the where the they parked in the parking lot, the sidewalks were clean, but she went into the parking lot and she hit ice, and she ended up hitting her head. And my mom did go to the hospital, and yes, they did find bleeding on her brain. This has been a while ago, but all she says, thank goodness for the church people before the ambulance got there, because they had a bunch of blankets that they had in the church, and they were all throwing blankets over her to keep her warm until the ambulance got there, because they couldn't move her. So they didn't want her to freeze to death. And she says, man, I was really piled with blankets. She says, I never realized our church ladies had that many blankets. My mother's funny. But she said they come and got her. And then she has problems with memory issues. Like, she'll remember some things from the past and some things from the present. But then my dad will bring something up and she'll say, why can't I remember that? Like, it has messed with some of her memory issues. But they've been taking care of each other, and he decided to stay in the nursing home because we don't have skilled living facilities here anymore. So the one nursing home does skilled facility, where they get them back on their feet. Well, when he decided to go there, he wanted to check it out too, to see what kind of care that they provided. Well, my mother stayed with him every day from the time visiting hours started till they were over. She made sure he got the proper exercise he was supposed to get. She made sure that they were following all the doctor's orders. And sometimes that's what you need, if you can, to have somebody sit with your person in these places to make sure they're doing their jobs. But Dad said he was very well taken care of at this place, and they did his workouts with him. They fed him good, and he was really pleased, but he didn't want to be a burden to my mom. And plus, I don't think he would have as much as problem with my brother and my nephew, but he doesn't want us daughters to see him nude, and that's a given. My grandmother was the same way. We helped take care of my dad's mom when she had cancer. Me and my sister would take turns on my dad's shift, because they had it where my one aunt would do morning, my dad did afternoon, and then the other daughter did overnight. So what me and my sister did, we swapped off, because my grandmother didn't have a problem with my Aunt Dawn and my Aunt Frances taking care of her, but she was like, I'm not going to have your dad put me on a pot. Like, she was very self-conscious, which a woman would be. But with me and my sister, we took care of her on his shifts, because she didn't want my dad to see her nude and stuff. And, and some people want that privacy. So we were glad to take care of her. And that's how I started getting into taking care of people. When I went to this, she was my first. I worked in a kitchen of a nursing home before, but I never actually had the one-on-one care till my grandmother. And because of her, I learned how to do the bedpans. I learned how to take care of her foods, her, when she was in her wheelchair, when she needed to be pushed around and she ran out of breath. And I learned from her how to take care of my elderly people. I love elderly people anyways. I've always loved their stories, even as a kid. I'd go sit on the neighbor's porch and listen to their stories, and they would give me cookies and water. So I've always loved elderly people my whole life. And then that got me into doing in-home private care with people. And I was working for a skilled living facility when COVID hit. And believe me, it was rough. Very rough. We had a lot of strict rules we had to follow. We kept running out of gloves. I mean, it was to the point where we were using food handlers' gloves just to get through, because everything was running out of stuff. Needless to say, and it's sad to say, the home that I worked for ended up closing the December after COVID hit because they just couldn't keep up with everything. But it was a skilled living facility. I enjoyed it. You know, I do enjoy taking care of my elderly people. Yep. And their stories were amazing. All right, Sandy. That's our sassy Sandy. You have sweet dreams, sassy Sandy. I like calling her sassy Sandy. She's a sweetheart. But yeah, oh yes, it was awful. That was awful, Sandy. Oh, being that stuff really hit me. And the weird thing is the shots. Like, man, I got hit with the first one. It was the second one out of the first, or was the first one? I don't know. One of the shots in the first series was like, wow, talk about potent. I felt like somebody punched me in the arm. And then the second, when we got the booster, that made me have chills so bad. I was like freezing. My husband's like, "What's wrong with you?" I mean, I was literally teeth chattering cold. And I had 4 blankets piled up on me, my husband up against me with his body heat, and I was still freezing. And that's what that booster did. And I don't know why, but that was my reaction to it. I did. I got them. We had to. My husband's workplace was, if you get the shot and you get sick, you get paid time off. If you don't get the shot and you get sick, you're without pay. We're not paying you. So he didn't have a choice. But we got the Pfizer, so we did okay. I just got sick off a couple of them, but I bounced back. But yeah, I was off the charts for a little bit. Man, my butt was kicked. How did he do? Did he have any reaction to his, or did anybody else have any that had them? I've only gotten the flu shot in my life, I think, once. I don't get them every year unless I'm in a workplace. But now when I worked for a counselor in a mental health facility, because that's what my degree was in. I majored in psychology when I went to college, and when I got out, I worked at a mental health facility as a counselor. And I had to get the hepatitis series, and they paid for it, but I paid for the last 2 shots because they were like, they weren't hiring and they were too far away, and the gas, I loved the people I worked with, but I couldn't get in there on a regular time. I was like a fill-in, and the place that I had to travel, I would only get like 4 hours, like 1 day a week, and it wasn't worth my gas money. So I told the company, I said, "Well, if you find a position for me where I'm not a sub, I'll stay. But I can't keep coming down here for just 4 hours because it's not worth my gas for as far as I've got to come." And they didn't have any hiring at that time. So I ended up leaving before the second 2 shots needed to be done. So I paid for them or no, the first 2 I had done. The last one I had to pay for. They were like $80 a piece for those shots. But I ended up paying for the last one because I went into my doctor and I'm like, "Hey, I'm not going to stop this now because I'm in the middle of the series." So I had the hepatitis series done too. And he said it'd be like $80. I said, "I don't care," but the company paid for the first 2. But I did that, and then right after I left there, another company called and hired me to airbrush paint. And that's how I ended up being an airbrush painter in a blow mold factory. So I went from counseling people to painting. And then I worked there for 3 years. And the first year I was there, then they called me and told me that they had a position open. I'm like, well, it's a little late because I'm already into this other job and I had did everything to get hired. And plus they paid more money. So I stayed with the airbrush company and worked there for 3 years. And another company came in, I think it was from North Carolina. They were called Grand Venture. They came in and merged because the company I used to work for was in Washington, PA. It used to be called Mac Plastics, and they changed it to Falcon Plastics because there was an Italian man, Mr. Falcone, that bought the building. He also owned a nursing, or not a nursing home, a funeral home up there. Well, he bought the building, and that's who I worked for 3 years, and then Grand Venture came up and decided to merge with our company, and I met Donnie Wade, who was the company owner of that company, and he taught me as a left-hander. I'm talking the big boss standing behind you saying, "Paint this, and then I'm gonna show you how to do it faster." He made me train all the left-hand people that come in up there. It was a really cool job, though, because I learned a lot, but it was a lot of work. We're talking assembly line on your feet, 12 hours a day on concrete. It was a lot of work. So I did that job for 3 years, then their company merged, and they decided to move it. I'm like, "You're kidding me." They moved the company to the Carolinas where Grand Venture was from, so it shut down. So then I didn't have that job anymore. I'm just a drifter. I drift in and out of different jobs, but you know what? Everything I've ever done, I've never gotten fired. I've always been on time, never got in trouble except for when we had a water battle, but that's another story. I worked for a new newspaper company. I've done lots of different jobs. I just kind of fit in wherever they put me. Yeah, Sandy. I got in trouble at Falcon for water guns. Because we worked at 110-degree temperature. We had to cool off somewhere, so we got in trouble because we got into a squirting match with guns from the good Dollar Tree. And this kid, Patrick, said he was going to get even with me, and he had a quarter of a bucket filled, and they used to have a staircase that people would go smoke cigarettes on, and the foreman was standing right at the bottom of the staircase, and when Patrick went to hit me with the water, he hit the foreman and screwed up all the paperwork. We got yelled at, "No more water! You can't have no water!" I was getting in trouble. And then when I worked for the paper company, it was are you ready for this? I was rubber band queen. And I got in trouble for flicking one of the bosses. I couldn't resist. One of the bosses was bent over and he was fixing, the binder that comes up, the plastic binding that, when you have a stack of newspaper. He was bent over under the machine, and I saw his butt. I got rubber band and I flung him in the butt. He was ready to kill me. But that job I had when I was going to college, my husband was on strike. So when I got hired there, it was only temporarily. I took a temp job because I told him I wanted to go back to finish my classes, but I wanted to get a job while he was off, and my husband's aunt worked there. And it was like a basement sound. He come up underneath that machine. He says, "No more." He starts screaming at me. So funny. He says, "No more using rubber bands." He says, "I'm tired of you people messing around." I said, "But you know what?" I said, "That's okay because you can't fire me because I leave in 3 days. I already put my notice in, so good luck with that one." He turned around, Sandy, and he busted out laughing. He actually was one of the bosses with a sense of humor, and he really wasn't mad. He was just showing off. And then when I told him he couldn't fire me, he started laughing. I said, "Because that is, I only had 3 days left. So, hell yeah, I'm going to sting the boss on the ass. Who wouldn't?" It was funny. Oh, I heard your retreat went good. That you guys had a good time crafting together. You wouldn't want me around. I'd mix your paint. I can't help it. I'm devious. I can hear Sandy now. She put her paints out to go craft, and she said, "That damn Tammy, she mixed my colors." Oh gosh, that would be so funny. I can't help it. I tell you who I think would be fun. Laura Chai talked about, and I'm surprised she's not in here. She talked about having a crafting retreat. I said, "Oh my God, could you see us at Laura's house?" Denise, we have the hippie, we have the bad girl, we have Laura, and who else she would invite? That would be funny. I think it'd be a blast. I told my husband, I said, "See, you could take a trip if we had a camper." I said, "You could go with me if we would plan a retreat." And I said, "You could drive me down, stay in the camper with the puppy, and you and her find something else you can do. And you could have your own vacation while I have a vacation." Oh, I think it would be too, Denise. I think it would be a blast. We'd have so much fun. I can hear Denise now. "Hey, you listen, Linda." Laura's a riot. She calls her crafting area her bitch barn. Could you imagine? I think that's so funny. Hey, Debbie. But I think it would be a blast to put in. I've been debating because I want a library in my house. I really need to turn this into a library. And my husband said he didn't really want to put a garden in. We could put a garden in where my daughter has one if we went to, because she's got more property. But I thought about I've been giving it consideration, buying one of those barns that you see, like something like this, maybe. Let me see here. One of those buildings they have like at Lowe's or whatever with the little porches that you have, where you have doors to go in, hook up electricity to it, and maybe build myself a craft barn. Like one of them turn it into a crafting building. Some people have they have really cute ones for people that have flower gardens and they want to stick a building in the center to store like their shovels and whatever they use for gardening. But I would just like to have one for crafting. I don't want a real huge building, but enough to turn into just my crafting room. I think that would be a lot of fun. But I don't know if I'll do it or not. But it would be cool. Alrighty, Sandy. Well, I am glad that you guys had fun. That sounds like fun. Mimi seemed like she enjoyed herself. I like Mimi. And you take care, Sandy. Thanks for coming in, too. I'm glad you got to come visit. Really, Debbie? That's cool. That would make a cute tiny home. You know, we have a neighbor over here that has one that looks kind of like a tiny home too. I think it was a gardening place, but they have it like part brick, and they stuck like a back on it to give it just a little bit of a kitchen. I think it has like a little refrigerator, stove, and a tiny little kitchen. It's almost like a pop out like you see on a camper. And then he had a sleeping area, and somebody told me before we moved in here there was a guy with a motorcycle that lived there. That he stayed there, and it was just enough for a person just to live in. You couldn't have much in it. But I thought about having it. My neighbor has a really cute one that they just put in. They put a fence. Her fence was dry rotted, so they knocked the fence down. They just put new fencing in last summer. And she put one of those buildings that it's like gray with like black trim, and it's got the two doors that open in the front of it. And I don't know, it must be her garden shed that she turned it into. I don't know, but it's really cute. Me and my husband watched the laborers come in and put it up, and I thought that is really cute. I said, if you ran electric to something like this, I'd make a really cute craft room. And I like it because, you know, it has windows where you could have more of an outdoor feel, and I could go in there and just craft and be by myself. I could only imagine what one of them costs right now. This would be kind of like what I would look for. Something like this. I like to have something with a little bit of a porch on it where you could go with this is just the floor plans for one. I don't know how much one would cost now with the wood, but something kind of like this. It doesn't have to have a double door. It can be just one door and just a littler porch. But I like this. I think this is pretty. It's kind of like a country look. This is a 16 by 20. It's called Cottage Shed. That's the plans too, but it doesn't tell you exactly how much they cost. But some of these places here will take payments on one monthly. I'd have to go pick out one. But I would want one with a little porch on the front. Now, my dad's got one of those real long ones. He's got the one that's long in the back, and it has a door with a little porch in the front, but his is too long. I wouldn't want one quite as big as the one he has. Who knows? I keep shopping. My hubby might stick me in one. He might stick me in one just to get rid of me. Get out of the house. Go stay in your shed. But then I thought this was cute too. Um, come on. You just can't give me a blown up picture, can you? Something like this would be cute too. I'll show it up close. See how it's like a sun porch? I don't know if I'd like to have that many windows to clean. But something that has like a couple windows on it too. I don't know. I'll know it when I see it. I'd have to go look at a bunch and then decide. I just know that I don't want one that doesn't have a window. Hmm. Or even if it's a door. that is like all windows, maybe. Just something where I could see outside. I just don't want to be in like something like that that has no windows or nothing on it. But see how that one has like that? That would be cute if that was the front door. Just one with all those little windows, and then you can see outside when you're crafting. This one here is kind of cute. Doesn't have a porch on it, but I like the front of it. Except I don't want two doors. One door is fine. I want to make it as economical as possible. But I look at these sometimes and I think, oh, that would be so cute to have outside. And just be like, see ya, going crafting. See you later. Never know when I'll be back. Might even put a bed in there so I don't have to come back in the house. Just craft and go to sleep. Well, that's cute. Now I probably would have um I think if I had one, I might want to like maybe a little island in it. Something with like a little island where it has a sink and maybe like a chair, almost like a breakfast bar type deal that I could sit up at if I'm painting and be close to water. That would be awesome. And you could probably put a little refrigerator in there too if you wanted a place to hold your drinks and stuff while you're out crafting so you don't have to come back to the house. Just something smushed. I don't have to have a microwave. Well, I guess I could. I have a not a microwave, but I have one of those pots that you put water in and you plug it in and it bubbles, and then all I have to do is add it for my hot chocolate. As long as I have plugs, that would be fine if I'm out there in the winter. And I have space heaters, so I don't need to buy those. I could put my little heater. I have a heater down here that I could stick and plug in and use to heat up the little building and keep warm while I'm out there. But mine would be something like this. This is what I'm talking about. Something with a little porch and one door. It could be right in the center. That window doesn't have to be there, and the side doesn't have to be there. Maybe like one window here and then just the door, and I would be happy. Something simple, but that's cutesy. I like that little building. Looks like a little garden building. It's cutesy. Well, my husband doesn't mind my crafting. He doesn't have a problem with that. He just hates that I buy the pieces for everything. He's like, okay, let's see you make some money from it now. He wants me to do it to make money off of it, where I do both. I like making presents and then doing giveaways with stuff. And I like um selling it too. Like I like all of it. Although this one's kind of cute too, because if you have a door and just a window, I want to have a chair where I can sit outside in front of it too. I think that's cute. Sit outside and relax, and then you have your door and your window. That's cute. That is cute. I like that. I just have to find my style. I don't know if he'll put one in for me or not, but I would like it if he did. This person's holding a sold sign. Sold. But I don't know. I think it would be easier for me to buy one of these buildings, have it put up, and then take and design how I want my craft room to be with the shelves and stuff in it, and unpack what I have in here into there. But my problem is I didn't start with an empty room. My bookstore's down here. So right now it's a mess because, like I said, it's half bookstore, half craft room. So you can only imagine. Where if this would have started, if I'd have started in this room emptier, my craft room would have been done. But because it wasn't empty, it's like, oh, I put stuff in, I got to move stuff out, but I got to get rid of more books. So I'll be having book videos coming up again. Right now, I'm just doing Sunny Fun Time Mails, and June 11th is our major yard sale. I emptied out half of our garage. I am so happy because I had a bunch of stuff sitting on a table, and I was just going through my house and throwing things that I want to get rid of, and half my garage just got emptied into our back garage because that's where we're having the yard sale. And then whatever doesn't sell, I'm going to try to put on the marketplace depending on what we have left. And if it doesn't sell, then it's going to be donated because I'm getting rid of it so that I can make more room. So I'm excited about that. And then once I get that done, I'm going to start back into my books. Alrighty, you take care, Denise. All kinds of books. But what I do is I'm going to be getting rid of I think I did 1 month of magazines. I did 1 month of all romance books, 1 month of action and suspense books. I pick a genre and I roll with it the whole month. And then people that put orders in for the books at the end of the month is when I'm done with that particular genre, clear up till they watch the last video. Because I had a lot of action and suspense people who bought from me through YouTube. And what they do is they tell me what they want through private messages on Facebook is how they get a hold of me, or they email me and they give me their list. And then at the end, I put it off, and that's when I do the shipping. I put it as a special order in my Etsy store, and then people can go into the Etsy store and pick up their order. And that's how I do my books. But I show 10 books per video. I read the synopsises of them, and then people can pick out what they want and let me know. And I keep it on a list, and then that's how I deal with the books. And then once they don't have to buy, like I do them in lots, but the person doesn't have to buy them in lots. I only do them in lots because I can post 10 at a time in the Facebook Marketplace. But I'll give you like a list of 10, and then the amount of what they cost each, and then the person will go say, hey, I want this book, and this book, and then that's how I do it. Oh, I don't have stuff like that. My books aren't dolls or Victorian. It's just a regular used bookstore. I have a lot of reading books. I had a lot of National Geographics that came through my bookstore for free that people donated, but I use those to craft with. That's where these pages came from. For the maps, I caught these out of National Geographics and used a lot for my mixed media projects. So I have a lot of magazines. I actually put work baskets out in videos and something else one time, but nobody seemed like they were interested. So, in sewing and quilting magazines, I still have a bunch of them, but they're upstairs. Because what people don't buy, then I would put back to see if I could use some of them when I do mixed media or take them apart and add them to paper packs, because there for a while I was selling my dyed papers. As a matter of fact, I need to do a bunch more coffee dyed papers because people are asking me for some. I got a lot of work to do after the 11th because I'm getting ready to launch a new Etsy store and get stuff. I got 2 Etsy stores that are sitting there collecting dust. I need to get items in, and I need to start my book videos again. But this will sit aside. That's really pretty how those tracks turn out with that green. I'll set this aside and this will dry. That was fun. And then I'm going to take and put the date. We'll do up here. 2022. Oh, Denise, these write really well. These are the pens that Denise blinged for her sale. The dad page. And that's my dad page. I love these pens. She's going to get refillable ink so we can continue using these. But I like it. She blinged out pens. Oops. And look at this magnifying glass. Look at those beads. These are from Denise's, so I love this magnifying glass. This is so awesome. Will definitely come in handy. I'm always having a hard time reading stuff. So I can just, ooh, looky there. Ooh. So cool. I love that she did them in my favorite color. So I have that sitting here. I have my own little container over here filled with stuff that I use. Yeah, sometimes I fall asleep. Now, I could check our vintage mall and see if they have paper dolls. I can look at whenever I get a chance to get there, because I think one time I saw dolls there, but I haven't been there in a long time to look for paper dolls. But I didn't get, the only thing that I got close to paper dolls, somebody had dropped off the American Girl sets. There was like these books about a play, and I think they had dolls and they had the book sets that went with them, and I sold all those. They were nice books, and I sold them really cheap too compared to what they cost online, because I never look online. I mean, I didn't look until after I sold them, because my daughter was like, oh my gosh. And I go, well, I'm a used bookstore, so I pretty much what my prices are, depending. Most of the time, if it's, let's just say you have your regular paperbacks, then you have longer paperbacks, then you have wider paperbacks that look like the size of a hardback, and then hardbacks. This is just like novels that you read. I sell the little ones for $1 a piece. I sell the tall ones for $2 a piece. I sell the paperbacks the size of a hardback for $2.50 a piece. and I sell the hardbacks for $3. And that's pretty much my average on books. Now, when I go out to like our flea market, they charge higher. Like the hardback shoes are usually $5 a piece. Even the thrift stores have gotten a little higher. I think they sell them. I think the softbacks at our thrift stores are like $1 piece and the hardbacks are like 2. But it depends on if you're looking for a specific author too, because they don't always carry the books you want to read when you go thrifting. That's why I read the synopses so people know what I have. And then people can just pick what they want. And here the other day, I was actually shocked because I opened up a box because I don't know what I have yet. Because it's not like I ordered this stuff, so I have no clue what's in these boxes. So I open them. I had an entire Janis Joplin set. Now that's going to be a little bit more pricier because I know that's a collectible. It came with a little box with 2 cassette tapes and a booklet in it with her pictures on it. It came with 3 hardbacks, I think. Besides that, and one of them looks like it has a signature in it, but I'm not sure. I'm going to have to check up on that book because if it's a signed copy, I know that's going to be valuable. And I had a Beatles. This thing was huge. It was like a coffee table book. I sold it for $20. Now those I might do an offer up on or something, I don't have to call it an offer up, an auction on, or it just depends. I don't know what I'm going to put as a price on those yet. But, and another thing I come across that's really cool is the 1960s Mad magazine. And it's like a book. It is so huge. That I'm keeping. I want to go through that myself and look at it because it's nice. Really nice condition. And then another box I opened up was filled with albums. And I bought a record player. It's in a like a suitcase. It's really cool looking. And I want to play some of the albums to see if they're scratched because I do have a lot of vinyl records still. I still have my 45s and everything from when I was a kid. I don't know Janis Joplin. I never studied her. So I can't really say if I like her or not. But there is a biography in there that I'm going to read. That's my next book on my list because I just finished Valerie Bertinelli's I just posted in a room a little bit ago. Losing It. Valerie Bertinelli's book Losing It was really good. I just finished that one and I'm going to read Janis Joplin next. So I will know Janis Joplin a little better. But I don't know. I've only seen I don't know, she was like before my time. I was never into her music. Things that are in my scrapbook album, the groups and type of music I would listen to, I would have like I collected Teen Beat magazines and stuff like that. I like the Hardy Boys with Sean Cassidy. I would collect pictures out of magazines like that and put them in this photo album, and I absolutely loved The Outsiders. Oh, that show was so good. I have a photo album somewhere here. I'll have to find it. It's got all the things that I ever saved from like my favorite music. And I had a picture of all the boys in The Outsiders, and I had Nothing Gold Can Stay poem in it. Like I would cut things out of magazines, make it like a scrapbook, a photo album. So that was one of my favorite stories. And I just collected I liked Winger. I seen Def Leppard in concert 3 times. I saw Bryan Adams in concert once. I saw Van Halen in concert when they were with Sammy Hagar. I saw and Eddie could play the guitar, let me tell you. I saw Tesla in concert. I saw Night Ranger in concert. I like stuff like that. That was, like, my favorite thing as a kid, and I'd have posters now. My brother had, like, Kiss all over his wall and, ugh, their tongues hanging out and blood everywhere, and I'm not saying I didn't like some of Kiss songs, like Hard Luck Woman, I like that song, and Beth, but I did not have Kiss on my walls. Their makeup and stuff was just not my thing when I was a kid. That was my brother's collection. My sister was in love with Andy Gibb. She had Andy Gibb plastered all over her side of the room where I had a mix on mine. I had like a picture of Sean Cassidy, a picture of John Stamos. Like I had different eclectic tastes even then. I just would put pictures up out of the magazines that I thought were cool. There is one picture out of a magazine that was a poster that I cannot wait to get framed. And I do want to hang it in my bookstore or craft room when it's ready. I come across the movie that I absolutely love, and the music in it is just so amazing. And I got a beautiful poster. And it's just let me get the name of the movie because I can't remember it off the top of my head. The Last Song. If you ever watched the movie The Last Song with Miley Cyrus in it and Liam Hemsworth, I love that movie and I love her songs in it. And I have a giant poster that is so beautiful of that movie. And I wanted it framed and hanging on my wall. Hey, Christine. Thank you. Saturday Night Fever. I remember Saturday Night Fever. But this was The Last Song. And I just love that movie with Miley in it. She sings a song in there on the piano that just blows me away. The Last Song was written specifically for Cyrus by novelist Nicholas Sparks, who wrote The Notebook. But I just, oh. I'll tell you what my favorite song is in it. Hold on, I'm going to get it. It's this one right here. If you ever get a chance, get it in here. This is my favorite all-time song that Miley sings. I don't know what it is about this song, but I just love it. Here's the video link to the song that I love in that movie. And I still love this song. It reminds me so much of the depth of her. It's just beautiful. Oh, that is so sweet, Deb. When I Look at You is my favorite. It's just such a good song. But anyways, my hubby's home. I'm going to let this sit and air dry. I'm going to put it up. And then I'm going to have to think of something for us to get started in next week because I want to do something different. I think I want to do a journal with you guys with signatures. And in order to pull that off, I need to dye some paper because I don't have any coffee dyed paper left. So I want to take and get some paper dyed so that I can start on a journal because I've done two altered journals with you guys. My Gothica was a hidden journal, but I didn't do that. That was a surprise. I just did a flip through. And then I've done my glue book with you guys. So I want to start on something else. I think I did little snippets on here and showed how to do those, which are these. I used up some items with buttons and papers, and I made these little, I call them little snippets. Somebody called them something else, but I call them snippets. And I want to start a journal. So if anybody wants to actually do a signature journal with me, bring a cover to a book that you done took apart, unless you want demonstrations on how to take a book apart. I can do that too. Hey, Silver. And this book here was originally made. I bought this, I believe, off of Patty Lang's sale a long time ago. She did these, and this is what the cover is supposed to look like, but I like the inside better, so I'm doing an inside-outside book. I like the butterflies, and I like the blue ripple of ink over the pages. So this is actually backwards. And I can either do a hidden signature on this or go ahead and signature them. But she painted these. I love these covers. So I'm going to turn this one into a journal. So to me, if you already know how to paint your cover or you just want a regular cover, you pick the cover you want. Sometimes I do them with wallpaper. I have not painted covers before. This just looks like random paper that was added in like decoupage and painted over. But I really like this as the cover because I love butterflies. So I'm going to turn this into a journal that I'm keeping. I have not made a blue butterfly journal yet, and I think it's time. I have this cover off of her. As a matter of fact, I want to measure this while I have it out. But I need to dye papers to finish it. This is 6 by 6. Yeah. 9 by 6. Ew, listen to that thunder. 9 3/16 by 6, I should say. And the other cover I have is bigger. I bought this off of Patty a long time ago too. This was a really pretty grunged one for a ship because I do like sailing ships too. Patty did this too. I believe, I don't think that's one of my law books, no. And then this was the inside and this was the back. Like a grunge look. So this is going to be, I think, a fun sale, kind of vintage looking book. But this one's a lot bigger. See the difference? It's a lot bigger than this one. So I think I'm going to do the butterfly one. So that's what I'm going to do. And that will be the start of next week if I get my coffee dyed paper done. I've got to coffee dye some paper. I need to start batching up my paper again. So that's what my plans are to start, and I think that'll be fun. Yes, I've sold. Yes, I sell paper. That's okay, Silver. Sometimes I hit caps too. It happens. Yeah, I sell my dyed papers. I'm sold out right now. I had some in my Etsy before, but I need to get some more done. That way I have extra if some people want to buy them too. I got to get back to selling. I need to make some money because of the other. Did you see my Gothica? I think you saw it. She's my purdy one. There's my Gothica in all her glory. She sits where I can look at her and pet her and be like, oh my, where did my come from out of my brain to create this? This was a lot of fun, but I will never make one this chunky again. This was a big one, but she was fun. See where I put secrets inside? This was a lot of fun. It really was. This one here was a book I took apart and I expanded the spine. I wanted it this big because it's like the size of my hand. Like this is a chunky monkey. And I like playing with eyelash trims. This will probably be the best creation I'll ever do. This was a hidden signature and it was hard because when you do hidden signatures, you have to be careful because these are heavy. So what I had to do was I had to sew the top and sew the bottom just for this to hold. And it's got Gorilla Glue in it too. I mean, it took everything to hold this together. But I'm so proud of her because she was a lot of work. My Gothica was amazing. She's a beautiful journal for sure. She's my crafty journal that I get to look at. It sits right above where I can see her. And she was a lot of work. No, she's not scary. She's beautiful. Not scary at all. She got beautiful stuff in her. I find goth to be very pretty. Depending. This is more of a romantic goth. This is not the skulls and all that. This is a beautiful goth journal. I got a lot of compliments and a lot of feedback on her. So I'm proud of her. She's one of my best creations. She took me over a year to make. She better be. I kept putting her down because I had other stuff to do, but she was worth it in the end. Definitely. So, she can sit up there for me to continue to stare at her. I made her like a romance goth. I didn't make her as a scary goth. But we shall see. I like dark though. I like very rich dark colors. So anyways, I'm going to go and I got to go torture my husband a little bit. And I haven't eaten dinner yet, so I'm hungry. And I want to thank everybody for coming in because this was fun tonight. And I met some really nice new people that I get to visit their channels. And it's going to be a blast. because we get to meet new people. If I meet new people, you meet new people. You have a great evening too, Christine, and thank you so much for coming in. You take care too, Deb. You all take care and you have a good one. Bye.